Hey y'all, it is Giacomo. Good Tuesday morning. Shalom to you. Note about the hair. I really ought to be thankful and blessed that I can still grow this amount of hair at age 50, going on 51 in a couple of weeks. Because my dad went bald when he was 40, and it's 11 years now, and I still have all this. Although, it's time for you to start finding some really good, competent barbers down here in South Carolina. I'm still looking. The irony, of course, is I've got that picture of me from Mean Mother, shattering the line between black and white, right behind me. My hair is almost nearly as long as it was in that picture that I took there. Extended rabbi trail here. That was a 70s blaxploitation film that tried to capture the whole Frank Grimes? I forgot the guy's name, actually. The original black Superman drug dealer in the 70s who hid heroin in the coffins of men coming back from Vietnam in their, a state of death. I've got Sherbert here with me, the cat. And so they did a modern DVD cover for this film. The film was horrible, too. A really, really bad piece of work. And that's where Mean Mother, shattering the line between black and white, comes into play. What was I about to talk about? Oh, okay. So, I want to encapsulate this whole thing with Jimmy Kimmel being canceled right now, or the canceled Jimmy Kimmel meme and hashtags on Twitter. And from a macro perspective, I've not been a huge fan of Jimmy Kimmel. I think that kind of slid downward over the years as he became more and more liberal. I think Jimmy Kimmel started out on the comedy circuit, maybe way back in the late 80s, early 90s. The first time that I had ever saw him, he was the co-host of the show Win Ben Stein's Money. He was like the comic foil for the most part, where Ben Stein is more articulate and, read all the questions off and such. The next time that I remember seeing him was on this thing called The Man Show. Now, I didn't have cable, and I'm still not a fan of cable as it is, but The Man Show that I saw, whatever episodes that I did manage to catch up to, was a juvenile piece of garbage. Something a 20-year-old, or an adolescent, I should really say, with daddy's camcorder, that's how far back I go, with daddy's camcorder would be able to make. It was him, having girls reach in his pants and bikini girls dancing. I'm like, yeah, again, I never watched it in its entirety or in the full episodes, but it was a bunch of garbage. Now, I mentioned The Man Show because right about now, if you're watching what's going on in the industry, Jimmy Kimmel is being called on the carpet by the cancel culture because of him putting on blackface in one episode and portraying Karl Malone, NBA great. As well, he's being called on the carpet as well for using the N-word. I don't want to get censored here by the YouTube gods. In a skit in which he impersonated Snoop Dogg in a Christmas album, apparently. Neither of which I've seen, and again, my interest in Jimmy Kimmel has been slowly waning down the ramp for a long time now. And so, I remember watching an episode that I was encouraged to watch through a mutual friend of the Jimmy Kimmel Show, where, it's supposed to be a comedy show, but he is this paragon of liberal virtue and virtue signaling and everything else. And so he has an episode in which one of the guys that I know from LA, who is a staunch anti-illegal immigration protester and conservative, had him on the show to ridicule him opposite a young man who was either a dreamer or an illegal who, I guess if I remember correctly, he actually served in the military and married a young lady, and apparently his marriage to her was fraudulent, and so he was being up for deportation because of that, even though he was a veteran. Now, I have a little bit of sympathy for my brothers and sisters who are illegal immigrants to my country who served alongside me, or who served at some point in my military, the fact that you did that, thank you for serving alongside me. Thank you for serving before and after me. But you came here illegally. That's the end of that rabbi trail right there. And so, once again, what I'm trying to say is, he's supposed to be this long shot, liberal defender, and Trump is a racist, blah, 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 blah. Well, finally, as Malcolm X said, as was also said in the movie Malcolm X with another champion of liberal causes and racism and such, Spike Lee, your chickens are coming home to roost. Is it a really big deal right now? Should Jimmy Kimmel and Governor Northam be removed from their positions? Yes, and here's why I say that. Right now, there are mobs of individuals pulling down statues across the country for long dead people. People have been dead for 100 years or more because of racism and their past sins and such. And even the people that may have erected the statues don't think about them any longer because they're probably dead as well. So, boys and girls, if you're going to tear down statues of racists, if you're going to cancel shows of racists and people that have done sins like Kevin Spacey, it's time for Jimmy Kimmel as well, okay? And I want to put it out this way as well. Kevin Hart was denied an opportunity to host the Oscars, I think it was 2 years ago, because of a tweet he had written, 10, 12 years ago in the infancy of Twitter. And somebody dug around in that sewer and pulled it out and said, I don't want to get censored again. He's a you-know-what because of this right here. And so he had to back away. Now, all things being equal, all things being fair, Jimmy Kimmel, it's your turn as well. Oh, and by the way, anything regarding Senator Robert Byrd, who, as I understand it, never repented for being the Grand Kleagle of the Ku Klux Klan in West Virginia, who probably watched as people like me were strung up from the neck until dead for no other reason than for being black, who is a Democrat, died as a Democrat. It's his turn for you to take his statues down and anything related to him as well. Again, all things being equal. Either it all comes down because of racism, or let's just go, it exists, leave it alone. Because boys and girls, children of all ages, we have bigger fish to fry. We've got 2 million homeless people in this country. We're still getting over this COVID hoax, if you ask me. It's time for us to deal with what's really, really important, like putting people back to work and giving them substantial work so they can elevate their families out of poverty. Going around and destroying statues and wasting a lot of money that's not coming back because you've torn that statue down is irrelevant and ridiculous. So, Jimmy Kimmel, it's your turn, bro. I hope you find podcasting or retirement, whatever else you're going to do with the rest of your life, enjoyable, because it's your turn to go down. I'm Giacomo, it's how I feel. Tell me your comments. What do you think? Love you all. Please like and subscribe, and please make sure you check out my links. I still want to sell A Week with My Father. Now, let me turn the camera back upon myself figuratively. There was a time when I've done some really stupid things 30 years ago or so, one of which I talked about in another video a while ago, where I had a female coworker named Kalmani who was from India. I wouldn't say she was bad to look at. She actually was kind of cute. She's had a mouthful of bad teeth, unfortunately. But she had an awesome body. And we were screwing around one day, and I happened to reach towards her like this. And I got called on the carpet for it by her when it happened. The weird thing is she let me massage her a few weeks later, so okay, whatever. That being the case, I surely don't want something dumb that I did when I was 19 to be the reason why I'm not going to succeed in this entertainment business. I am no one's racist. I am no one's Me Too guy. Sherbert, you don't get a vote. Quiet cat. Anyway, what do you guys think? Love you abundantly. Shalom.